What's up everyone, this is Scher talking, welcome back to my channel. This time we'll be running Byunei's raid, and Byunei is pretty tough, just like Alosis, but even more. Sometimes she has Rising Nerf, a skill that increases her defenses and your damage will be crippled. But I do have some strategies here. I can reach as much as 1.5 million on auto. That is what you need to reach the missions, and well, if you want to run on manual, you can get overdrive and that will help you a lot. Well, Byunei uses mostly slash attacks, but also heat attacks and also, well, lightning attacks. Just kind of hard to defend against her. I will use this first strategy here that requires evasion, and there are plenty of cards that can do this, but it's a little limited if you have that or not. Rapid Stream works well to increase your agility, and I also have Nawal's daughter. She would just open with Water Festival, and then after that she would just use Aqua Bash to give us some will, because Byunei can just inflict sleep on you all the time, and that's not cool. I am also bringing the Gold Feather Charm with all status resistance to increase more chances of not getting inflicted with that. I also have Madeline for damage, and this is UDX Madeline with Luna Fulgor inherited. The reason is just that she can negate damage and trigger agility buff, so that she can keep up evading. There is Global Red here, and he just uses Hummingbird to evade. There's also Xenon. All these three characters will start evading forever, but it takes some time. My Annie also does the same, but she's not maxed. You can see that her skills are not maxed. If you have her Gotcha style, you can inherit Slash Rondo so that she buffs her agility a lot right from start, and then she just cycles between Gleaming Slash and Mac Blade Plus that buffs her agility as well. Eventually Nawal's daughter will die, but it does not really matter, because she doesn't have high agility. She will just die in some point. As long as the other ones keeps doing damage, this will work. Let's go. Okay, so this strategy, you can replace some of the units, like Xeno or Mikhail with Lightspeed Plus inherited. Instead of Nawal's daughter, you can use Matriarch for buff, or you can also use Shendu. Shendu may even be a little better, but I am taking my risks to just buff Will so that Lullaby does not affect me, because sometimes it just affects your best damage dealers, and that's a terrible thing. One good part about UDX Madeline is that she can self-buff agility, and she uses 2 attacks with Luna Fulgor, so there's 2 chances to buff, and it's 37, so 2 times 37 is a pretty high chance. Does not often happen all that much, but when she self-stacks, you see Annie just self-stack it as well. She has 25%, that's not as much as Madeline, but at least she has an attack that buffs agility too. Another character that works pretty well is Luna New Year and Press. She has very, very high agility, and she just buffs herself. And another strategy is pretty limited, but is also one that works well. If you have the units. So Nawal's daughter will just die sometime. I'm taking my risks here and buffing my Will so that Lullaby does not hit me. Lullaby puts everyone into sleep, and if you have high evasion, you can get inflicted with sleep and start evading attacks and never awake. This reduces the damage by a lot. Also, Madeline will always be on danger. It's normal. It's like her gameplay. If someone dies between, I don't know, the high numbers of turns, don't worry too much. See, Lullaby. If we didn't have Nawal's daughter here, you would have a high chance of being inflicted with sleep. Annie, please stack more agility buffs. My Mac Blade Plus not maxed, so I'm not getting the max buff. See, one passive trigger. Xeno is untouchable. At least now. Nawal's daughter died, and a very good thing is that she heals everyone. She did her job. Now we have like 4 turns with our Will buff. It will be enough to survive Lullaby. She managed to hit with Suck Blood. Happens. She didn't self-buff now. This may be her end. Not yet. Not yet. 1 HP. Every time she uses Rising Earth, we don't do as much damage. She died. It's understandable. The 3 characters are still doing damage. If you bring a Matriarch instead of Null's Daughter, the first Matriarch by inheriting Shining Glory, you can do more than that. I was doing like 1.3 million, 1.4 was my max. So, depends on RNG as well. Here you can see 1.5 million, this was done using Matriarch. But I just showcased her so many times already, I wanted to see something new. Okay, so the other strategy is very different, uses different styles, and I have Global Axe Rock Bouquet for intelligence debuff, and I also have this version of Yundin, the Global Axe one, inheriting Water Hammer. There's a trick here, we'll not be using shield, we will increase shield to 5, so that when we don't have VP, she will use normal attack and return for Water Hammer. Water Hammer is super useful here. I have 2 intelligence buffers, and depending on the turn, if I go after the boss or if I go before the boss, the 5 weaknesses will trigger, but it reduces incoming damage. Rock Bouquet is also inheriting Water of Life. She just focuses on Cycle Boom all the time. And a very important character is Princess White Rose because she can buff in Will of the Squad with her first passive. Fire Impress here to decrease damage because of Scrum Guard. Tiger's Den formation also decreases damage further, increases your will to survive Lullaby. And for last, I'm using Leonard just because I want, because he's also not so bad for this. Overflowing Feelings will buff Morale and Guard up, only 2 turns, but after that he just cycles Spinning Slash that deals good damage. Sadly, he cannot be programmed to just use a Spinning Slash. Marvelous Slash gets in the way, so that's just the best way that he can operate. Also, don't forget to inherit Moonlight with your Fire Impress. Let's go. Okay, so we are on the field now. Impress will do some damage on turn 1 and 2 only. After that, you'll probably be healing people. It's nice to heal with Impress because she increases morale up for them. And Leonard has a very high priority. Giving morale up and guard up right on start helps out reducing damage. And also, you see my Princess White Rose is inheriting the first skill from her Christmas style. So she just cycles between Choco Balls and I think it's Light's Worm or something like that. We'll see. See, now Leonard is just using his single target attack. That self-buffs him, so the damage is pretty good. The Water Hammer debuffing Intelligence, now we debuff Agility. The more Princess White Rose gets attacked, the better. Now Byunei will just self-cleans. 5 weaknesses on turn 3 is always a guarantee. But Water Hammer is here to help out reducing damage. My equipment is also geared towards resisting Slash. 2 characters with evasion, they have the same passive, both Yundin and Rock Bouquet. They enter evasion stance and heal themselves. White Rose is not healing here, she's just doing damage and debuffing agility. It's good when they go right after she debuffs, she cleans the debuff because I can debuff with other characters. Again, reducing her damage. This may not be the highest damage possible, but it's also pretty safe. There's not that much RNG involved here. Seeing Lullaby will not hit us because of many things. Debuffing Intelligence of Byunei and increasing our will with Princess White Rose. Damage is very, very bad now. Byunei barely does damage. It's pretty fun that Yundin works like that. I didn't know exactly that will work. But you have 2 other styles of Yundin with Other Hammer to inherit from. And she just forgets that she even exists. But sometimes she will have to use a normal attack. That's the price you pay. Because we didn't need to heal so many times, there was even a chance for Impress to use Quadruple Moon Strike. Rock Bouquet is almost dying now. Maybe she'll die now. Nope, she evaded. We got to 1 million. We're almost dead. The problem is just that this fight has plenty of RNG. The more rising nerfs, the less damage you inflict. That's okay, we are now on the last turn. We'll do 1.2 million, maybe. But this is on auto, guys. Something that can be done without wasting too much time. Yeah, not as much as I wanted, but pretty close. Sadly, this is the worst strategy of it all. To do more damage, I could only do with the first strategy by bringing the same units that I'm using in some bosses. But if anyone has different characters, they can try to use this older strategies I just showed. But that's about it, guys. Thanks so much for watching the series of videos. I know it can be a little boring. I hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye.